In this lecture, we will discuss quantum mechanical coherence. So, generally the coherence means for two waves to show interference, they must have coherence. So, actually, we are here dealing with the wave nature of the tiny particle. So, for wave nature, there are coherent and incoherent waves, as we all know that. What is coherence and incoherence? Coherence means there is a particular synchronization between two wave functions. Incoherence means there is no synchronization between these two wave functions. Now, for we know that constructive and destructive interference. So, in constructive interference, if there is no phase difference, we can observe a constructive interference, and if it is out of phase, we can observe a destructive interference. For incoherent one, there is no amplitude synchronization. So whatever be the two waves, whether it is constructive or interference, there is no perfect maxima or perfect minima in this incoherent interference. So we can observe smallest wave function. So the importance of this wave function is that we are actually dealing with the uh, quantum mechanical properties of tiny particle or pure wave function of this particle. Now, next, we can define some mathematical function in quantum mechanical coherence. So these are some general, so these are some general ideas regarding this quantum mechanical coherence. So, in a mesoscopic structure, the behavior of the electron should be described quantum mechanically using Schrödinger equation. So this will learn in the next section. Okay, what is Schrödinger equation? Then, if the electron interacts inelastically with a defect or any impurity, the electron change their energy and the momentum as well as the phase of their wave function. We know that what is inelastic collision. In inelastic collision, there will be no energy conservation, so the energy will lose somewhere. So the initial and final momenta or energy will be different. Then the phase coherence length is also established here. The phase coherence length alpha is defined as the distance traveled by the electron without a carrier wave changing its phase. Or in quantum physics, alpha should be length similar to the inelastic scattering mean free path LE. Actually, it is better to connect with the mean free path LE. This phase coherence length alpha and LEs are more or less similar. Okay. So actually, it's the length between two successive inelastic collision. So electrons can now show interference effect over the distances smaller than L5. If the electron with the phi F1 interfere with the electron of phase phi 2, we know from the wave theory that the amplitude can add up to each other or they can be subtracted depending on the phase difference. Actually, the phase length is very important. Then interference effect can observe within this particular limit, within this particular mean free path, that we can observe the interference effect. If it is in the same phase, there is constructive interference, and if it is in out of phase, there will be destructive interference. Actually, we have to remember that this constructive or destructive interference will happens within the mean free length. Now, so we can define the dimension of our nanostructure or mesoscopic structure. Now we are trying to define the structure or a dimension based on the size of the material. When one or more of the dimensions of a solids are reduced sufficiently, it is physiochemical characteristics notably depart from those of the bulk solid. Actually, in the last section, I have explained conductance variation in mesoscopic and conventional systems. So, because of the dimension reduction, there will be a considerable change in the characters of the material. When the dimension of the solid get reduced to a size comparable with the mesoscopic length, then the particle behave wave-like and the quantum mechanics should be used. Then, with the reduction in size, novel electrical, mechanical, chemical, magnetic, and optical properties can be introduced. The resulting structure is then called a low dimensional structure. When one of the three spatial dimensions of a solid, usually a semiconductor material, is of size comparable to de Broglie wavelength lambda b, we say that we are dealing with a material or structure of low dimensionality. The low dimensional material exhibit a new physical and chemical properties not shown by the corresponding large scale structure of the same composition. Suitable control of the properties and the responses of nanostructures can lead to new devices and technology. See, actually, the nutshell of this slide is if the length we need to consider the three dimension of a material x, y, and z. If any of the dimension എല്ലാ ഡയമെൻഷൻസും വേണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധമില്ല. If any of the dimension, if any of the length of the dimension is comparable to the de Broglie wavelength, we can consider it as a nano structure. Now, ഇതിൽ ഒന്നും രണ്ടും ഒക്കെ സെന്റൻസ് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ ഓൾറെഡി പറഞ്ഞത് തന്നെയാണ്. ഇഫ് നമ്മുടെ മെറ്റീരിയലിന്റെ സൈസും ക്യാരക്ടറിസ്റ്റിക്സ് സൈസും കമ്പാരബിൾ ആകുമ്പോൾ the entire characters will vary. Is electrical, mechanical, chemical, magnetic, and optical properties are all different from the conventional material. Now, we are defining the size of the nanostructure. As I have already explained, in material there are three dimensions. It is in x, y, and z. If any of the dimension is in the size of nanometer or nano size, or so is in which is comparable to the de Broglie wavelength, or in any of the characteristics wavelength, we can classify the material like this: two-dimensional, one-dimensional, and zero-dimensional material. There is another explanation for this 2D, 1D, and zero-dimensional material, like the electron movement. The free electron movement is in two-dimensional material. In two-dimensional material, the one size here we can observe the three axes, say x, y, and z. So in one direction, so in this direction, size of the material is very small. It's in the range of mesoscopic level, so that we cannot shown here. So it is only the considerable length is only in these two dimensions. These two dimensions are there. In these two dimensions, the electron can freely move. So this is two-dimensional material. So we can conclude that here there are three dimensions generally, but in one dimension the size is very less. So only in two dimension we can observe the material. So in this dimension only the electron can move. Likewise, in one-dimensional material, the movement is conformed to the only one dimension. In other two dimension, the size is very less. Okay, it's in the range of de Broglie wavelength. Then in a zero dot material or zero-dimensional material, the size is very small in all dimension, and the electron movement is restricted in every dimension. So this is the basic idea of 2D, 1D, and zero-dimensional material. The next thing is quantum confinement effect. Is observed when the size of the particle is too small to be comparable to the wavelength of the electron. So this is very interesting thing. So this quantum confinement leads to a collapse of the continuous energy bands of bulk material into discrete atomic energy level, atomic like energy levels. Actually, നിങ്ങൾ ഹൈഡ്രജൻ ആറ്റത്തിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ ഡിസ്ക്രീറ്റ് ലെവൽസ് വരച്ച് പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാകും. സോ വി ക്യാൻ ഒബ്സർവ് ഡിസ്ക്രീറ്റ് എനർജി ലെവൽ. സോ ദീസ് ആർ ദി ഡിസ്ക്രീറ്റ് എനർജി ലെവൽ. When the material is bulky, or if the substance contain more and more number of atoms, these discrete energy level get close together and it can be observed as a band. So it's nothing but very closest energy levels are comes together and it forms a band like a structure. So this is for bulky material and this is for nanostructure. Since we all know that for a nanostructure we can observe only few number of electrons. Okay, so we can compare the energy level of a nanostructure to a single electron or a single atom crystal. So in nanostructure the energy levels are discrete in nature, but in conventional material it is we can observe energy bands. It is because of in bulky material these discrete structures get close together and it forms a conduction band. Another interesting thing is, so as the size of the particle decreases till we reach a nanoscale, the decrease in confining dimension makes the energy level discrete and this increase or widens the band gap. This will ultimately increase the band gap energy. Actually, for discrete material compared to the bulky material, the band gap is more for discrete structure. As we reducing the size of the material, we can observe more and more number of discrete level. For that case, the band gap is more compared to that of this bulky material. ഇനി ഇതിൽ പറയാനുള്ളത്, again we are moving to the dimensionality of the structure. Then we are comparing mathematically representing the dimension by using Lx, Ly and Lz, comparing to the characteristics length lambda. So So if the lambda is very much lesser than Lx, Ly and Lz, in this case the electron behave as in regular 3D bulk semiconductor for this case. Okay, so we can see the material length is very much bigger than the size, the characteristics length lambda. So it's like a regular three-dimensional material. And if any one of the size is lesser than the nanostructure or mesoscopic structure, we can observe a nano properties or quantum mechanical property. So here in the second case, so So this is actually wrong. Here the lambda for Lx, one of the dimension the characteristics length is more. So in this case the two-dimensional properties. So this mesoscopic system is called a quantum well. So and similarly we can observe quantum wire. Then we can also observe a quantum dot. So in quantum dot all the dimensions are very smaller compared to the characteristics length. In quantum wire, two of the dimensions is very smaller compared to the characteristics length. And in quantum well, one of the dimension is very small compared to the characteristics length. So in the next lecture, I will give detailed explanation of what is quantum well, what is quantum wire, and quantum dot. Thank you.